Are you looking for affordable office space in Marion? The professional building located at 685 Delaware Avenue is the place for you. For more information, call 740-383-6803. Office space is now available. Again, telephone number 740-383-6803.
This is Scott Spears, and today I'm joined by a person that has went through a lot in the last month and has certainly proven that community does care. Courtney Robinson. Courtney, how are you?
Pretty good.
Well, I thank you so much for coming here today. I know interviews are never fun, but I thank you. Have you done any other interviews?
A couple job interviews, but that's about it.
Never attempt. Well, this will be a little different. This will end better than those did.
Okay.
You know, one of the unique things about hearing your story, which I think most people understand now, is we don't know a lot about your past unless we knew you personally. So I want to go through a little bit of that.
Okay.
What has growing up been like? What's growing up been like?
Well, I've lived with my mom up until now, and my dad has been in and out of my life ever since I was younger, so me and my mom are pretty close, so.
Typical childhood.
Right, yeah.
You live in Cardington.
I did.
You did.
I live in Gallion.
Gallion
My
now?
mom and my stepdad are getting a divorce, so we moved in with my grandma, so.
Okay. What is it like? I think a lot of people would want to know this. What's it like to be a high school student in 2012?
Just like any other high school. I mean, there's your drama and your cliques and your pretty much just high school, you know. I mean,
Obviously, you weren't in school 20, 30 years ago, but how do you think cell phones and internet and things like texting have changed high school?
Well, my school actually just made this rule this year that we're allowed to have our phones to do research in class now. So that has definitely changed over the years. So, and like we're allowed to bring in iPads and like laptops and stuff like that too. So,
Do you think that's for the better or for the worse?
sometimes like a lot of people I know do text in class when you're not supposed to, but they still do it. I mean, and that's a distraction, so, and it can be good because, like, if we don't have the laptops that we can use, we could always use our phones because most people have, like, smartphones now, so.
You know, everything we hear about high school now is bullying. Does that go on? I mean, is it terrible?
It isn't really bad at my school now, but it can be bad. I know. But
I can see where it would get out of hand.
yeah.
At 17, have you thought of what career you want to go into?
With all this stuff happening, like with my brain, I'm thinking about going into something neuro.
Really?
Yes.
Did you have a thought before this of something you wanted to do?
I was thinking about like human resources or something like that, but
Are you thinking now about maybe a neurosurgeon or somebody who does research?
yeah, probably research.
Research.
Yeah.
Have you picked a college?
Well, I was gonna go over to MTC because I don't really want to go far away, so I was just gonna go over to MTC and do like my main classes, and then eventually probably go to a bigger, like, a college and get like the other stuff that I need. So.
You know, I would say, as I said, I think a lot of people know your story, and we'll get into what's happened in the last month. But just wanted to get some, you know, hey, what do you do in life? Favorite hobby? Do you have any hobbies?
I cheer, so.
Now, what do you like about that?
I've done it ever since I was 3rd grade, so.
Do you have a least favorite thing about life?
Not really, no.
Happy-go-lucky. Leading up to this, and this has been in the last month now, and I can't imagine going through something like this or anybody going through something like this. Had you ever been sick in life at any point?
Ever ever since I was younger, I've had stomach problems, and they thought I had Crohn's disease at one point. So, kind of, in a way, I have been. But I also had a surgery on my neck, or when I was like 3 or 4, I had lymph nodes removed, and they thought it was cancerous. So I was sick from that, and then they thought I had the Crohn's disease, but other than that, not really, no.
What happened a month ago? What started this all?
Well, it started in April, really. My mom and I noticed that I was I was having severe mood swings, and we just thought it was like typical 17-year-old teenager, just having mood swings and all that other stuff. And then I started getting really bad headaches. And then that night after the game, I went over to my boyfriend's house, and I felt weird, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go home because I'm starting to get really tired and I don't want to fall asleep driving. So I got home and I talked to my mom for a little bit, and then I went in and laid on the couch. And then I talked to my grandma for a little bit, and I went in and laid back down on the couch. And I was feeling real weird, and all of a sudden I was laying there and I tried to open my eyes, and they just shut back. They just shut. And then my body started shaking, and my left side of my face started drooping, because the right side of your brain controls the left side of your body, and the left side of your body or brain controls the right side of your body. So that's why my face on my left side was starting to droop. And my arms were going all over the place, and then I went unconscious. I knew what was happening. When you're having a seizure, you know what's happening, and you can you can still feel everything and you can hear everything. And I was thinking, I was like, oh my god, I think I'm having a seizure right now. And then all of a sudden I just went unconscious, and I didn't wake up until 3 o'clock in the morning. And then when I woke up, I went into my mom's room and I was like, Mom, I think before I went to bed I had a seizure. And she's like, are you sure, Courtney? I was like, yes, Mom, I'm pretty sure. I've seen people have seizures before, and I know what happens. And so we went up to the hospital, and I was laying in bed with my mom because normally I would sleep with my mom anyway, because I just do. 17 years old and I still sleep with my mom, but whatever.
That's okay.
But we went up to the hospital, and my mom's like, well, Courtney, I don't know if they're going to do anything about it because you've already had it. She didn't think they would be able to do anything about it. So I went up to the hospital, and they said that they were going to do a CAT scan on me. And so they took me down to do a CAT scan, and then after they did the CAT scan, they brought me back into the room that I was in, and about half an hour later, they came back in and told me that I had a mass on my brain. And we were like, oh, okay. And so they're like, well, we don't have any other technology that we could do anything about it, so you're going to have to be transferred to a bigger hospital. So they suggested either Riverside or Children's. My mom's like, okay, we'll just send her to Children's. And so they gave me some medicine, and I went in the ambulance, and they took me up to Children's, and I was in the ER for I don't even know how long it was. It was a few hours, and then they said that they put an IV in me and did the pulse ox thing on your finger and on my finger, and did a couple tests and took me down for some MRIs and all this other stuff. And then they sent me to the neurology floor on the 10th floor, and I was in there for a few days, and then a couple days before I had my surgery, they had me do an EEG. And that just, what an EEG does is just measures your brain waves. And I had that one morning, and they told me the night before that I wasn't allowed to go to bed until midnight, and then I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I had to be tired for it, because I had to sleep for it. And after the EEG, they told me that I was having silent seizures in my sleep. I wasn't physically having seizures, but the brain waves, and that was in, I don't even know what part of my brain it was. the temporal, I think.
At 17 years old, you're at the football game, you're hanging out with the boyfriend, you come home, you've never had a seizure,
Mm-mm.
and within days, you're being prepped for brain surgery.
Right.
How are you feeling the night before surgery?
I was nervous, but then again, I was like, well, I gotta do this, you know. There's nothing else I can do. So,
What was the surgery like?
um, well, I went into the pre-op room. They came in. The surgery was at 8:30, so I had to wake up a little before, and my mom and I went into the pre-op room, and the anesthesiologist and everybody and the surgeons came in and talked to me, and I started getting like a little more nervous at that point, and the surgeon was like, "Courtney, can I do anything for you? Do you have any questions?" I was like, "Yeah, can you take a picture of my brain?" And he's like, "I can try if you want me to." So that was my only thing that I wanted. The only thing. And he did.
Why was that? Why did you want that?
I don't know.
It's very tough to talk about, and I understand that, and I think the people watching this will understand that. What was it like to come out of surgery? How did you feel?
I don't really remember it much because the surgery was 9.5 hours, and that's a long time to have anesthesia. So I don't really remember it very much.
Let's talk about the community, because this has been one of the most amazing things I've ever seen, and I've been here in Marion a long time.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, in these days, from the diagnosis till the time of surgery, and continues to this day, people shave their heads, people put on shirts, certain and purple shirts. On that day, people did all kinds of things. When this was going on, I'm sure you're preoccupied with the upcoming surgery, but what did you think?
I thought it was amazing. Like, I didn't honestly think that any of that would happen. Like, it was crazy. Like, it was kind of ridiculous in a way. Like, something like this would pull a community together like that.
How does it make you feel?
It can be overwhelming sometimes, but like it's nice like to have all the support and all the prayers and stuff. So
The surgery has taken place, and what happened? What was the diagnosis after the surgery?
it is called oligoastrocytoma anaplastic stage 4. So stage 3 actually.
Stage 3.
Yes.
And for those of us who don't understand, what basically does that mean?
I do have cancer. I have stage 3 cancer, and the stages just that all the stages mean is just how fast the cells divide. So it's a pretty aggressive cancer.
What can be done for this, or what is going to be done?
I actually have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning up at OSU because I'm going to be starting chemo and radiation. Tomorrow, all the appointment is I'm going for a consultation to talk about what's going to happen. I have to be on radiation 5 days a week for 6 weeks, and I'm going to be taking a chemotherapy pill 7 days a week for 6 weeks. And then after the 6 weeks, I get a 4-week break where they do all the testing and like MRIs and all this other stuff. And then after the 4 weeks is over, I go back on the chemo pill 5 days a month for at least a year. So
Do the doctors feel optimistic about this?
yes,
Good.
I actually last week I had a couple doctor's appointments, and I went to see the oncologist, and he said that I had a pathology test that came back, and it was actually a chromosome test, and I'm missing the 1st and 19th chromosome in the cells. So that was actually a positive thing because they said that since I'm missing those, I will take better to the treatments. So there's an 80% chance that I will go into remission. So
It's very good to hear. I'm sure everybody's glad to hear that. As you head into radiation and chemotherapy, what's your thoughts?
I just want to get it over with. Like, I want it to start and get over with so I don't have to.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. It's been such a small amount of time. It's unbelievably small. How has it changed you, would you say?
Well,
Or has it changed you?
in a way, yes. Like, I definitely have a different outlook on life, that's for sure.
If you could talk to somebody who would be going through this, or may go through this in the years to come, because it happens to people, what would you say to them?
I would just tell them to stay positive because that's what's going to get you through it.
And is it easy for you to stay positive?
Kinda. I mean, if I sit there and think about it, yeah, it gets to me, but
It'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. I have a good feeling. Just last question about this. Does it make you angry?
no.
No?
Mm-mm.
You just say, this is the way it was?
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 10 years? Let's talk happy, because you're going to be around. Where do you want to be?
Hopefully have kids, be married, have a good job, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure that will be the
Typical.
case. Typical,
Yeah.
because you're the typical kid.
Yeah.
Under all this, that's what it is. I agree. This is such a touching story, and I think it's touched everybody to that degree. And I know it's hard to talk about this, and I understand that, and I thank you for doing this from the bottom of my heart. And you are going to be fine. There's no doubt in my mind. The community's there. It'll be fine. You just need to stay optimistic, as you say. I don't have it with me today, but I did, because I knew you liked cheerleading. I'd heard about this. And Jessica Clifton is a friend of mine. She is a former cheerleader for the NFL, for the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2009-2010. She's going to be sending a pair of her NFL pom-poms for you that we'll get, and we'll get those to you. And also, she's coming to Ohio in December, and she'd like to meet with you, give you a free lesson if you'd like at that point, or whatever we can do.
All right.
Do you have any parting words for the people out there? Because I think the people watching this are probably the people who've been following this story. What would you say to them?
Just thank them for all the support they've gave and everything they've done, and yeah, so
Well, and I thank you.
thank you.
Courtney Robinson, certainly a very brave person, but in that normal kid. See you next time.